All right. So here we are, back at it, the Garden Girls. I'm Kara. I almost said I'm Chris.
Yeah, okay. Whoever we are, I would be Chris.
This is my mom, Chris.
All right. We're happy to help you out with some things to think about before this workshop.
So this is called the Natural Cone Planter or the London Basket. And why do we call it London?
The company calls it London. I don't know. Maybe they use them over there.
Fancy.
It's part of
All
the
right.
Queen, yeah.
So that is on Tuesday, April 27th, or Thursday, April 29th. We offer it twice because this is a very popular class. So, and I think there's even different time slots at that time. So, but don't worry, we're serving wine at every single time that you come in and check in. And this class is really fun because you get to personalize it with different options. So we have two of the options here that we'll be planting and showing you. The third option I'll bring over looks like this. It's a like a green moss, very similar to the turtle. Okay, and then the other one is similar in striping to that kind of seagrass one right there, but it's a little bit darker, so you can see what that looks like. So these were just planted, but we'll show you what the options are. Those are the natural cone options, and then the London basket looks like this. So it's in that fancy wrought iron with the cocoa liner. This gets 7 plants in it. I'm like shaky. This is a heavy one. And that one is $65, or the natural cone, we put 5 plants in here, and that one is $50. So we'll do sun and shade, huh?
Right. And if it happens that you have missed the jumbo basket, it's the same cost as the London basket. So if you elect to do that, you certainly could. But this is just as many plants, and it has kind of a fancy wrought iron cage surrounding the coir. So
and the plant selection is very similar to the jumbo basket. Mm-hmm. And there's
Right.
probably some that you want to talk about right here.
There's some, yeah. Well, I'm happy to say, okay, so there is always some kind of inspiration that kind of dictates the other plants that you're going to choose. And one great recommendation we have this year, because this is the Mandevilla plant that so many of you have fallen in love with. It has kind of a meandering habit, but it comes in a multitude of colors. There's a coral, and of course...
This is coral, yeah, it's really pretty.
What is this? This is pink, but there is a red as well.
Yeah.
And most often, this is a $10 plant, and I have seen it for $13.99. This is in our $5.99 pot. So the 5 plants that you get should all be $5.99 or less.
They're always in this expect the best Milliger pot.
So if you should choose something that's more money, you just pay a little upcharge. But there are 1,200 varieties in this category. So we're going to start. So
all right, into sun. Well, I do really like this coral Mandevilla, and obviously the way the baskets are shaped. And putting 5 plants in here, it's square, so we're going to do 1 in the middle, and then I like to put 1 in each corner so it kind of fills in and spills over and softens those edges. So I'm going to put that in the middle, and I'm just going to set it up just to make sure that we like it.
That is so important, because sometimes you change your mind and then you're moving it around, and all of a sudden the soil's falling off, and pretty soon you have about 4 roots left. So we are recommending that you lay it out and be sure that you like the look. And so Kara's chosen some plants that vary in color, size, texture, and shape. And this is our Bible, the 4 biggies. So color, size, texture, shape. So here is a glossy leaf, an open flat flower, and she's picked, well, why don't you tell us?
Well, this is this Bloomtastic Yellow New Calibrachoa that I'm really loving. I mean, the flowers, we know Calibrachoa and really expanded the selections of different colors and flower size because they perform so well and they really don't require any maintenance. And again, you're getting that variation in the flower size. So I'm putting that there. And to balance that out, this is the Lysa Machia, or Creeping Jenny, and it has that beautiful bright chartreuse color, and it's not as vigorous as the sweet potato vine, because we know that thing is an animal.
Yes. So you notice that Kara didn't put them right next to each other. They are opposite each other. So the yellow color is kind of picked up by the chartreuse hanging vine. And if they're right next to each other, I think they kind of cancel each other out. So now what have you picked for the corners?
Well, this is new for us this year. This is a Angelonia, and it's called Angel Face Cascade Blue. So if you've known Angelonia before, it's usually an upright plant, and it's great for the center of a container or a basket. But this is cascading, so you can see it's meandering a little bit. Great variation in your size, color, texture, and shape. You got it all right there.
So here we have an elongated, spiky plant that has a multitude of little flowers on it. So that is a nice contrast, not to mention the fact that we've got a different color going. And finally...
Well, finally, I added, this is called Sophie Cascade. It's an ivy geranium type. And this is a spectacular geranium because it, I mean, gosh, it blooms all the time. It doesn't really require any maintenance. With other geraniums, of course, you're deadheading a lot. The ivy geraniums, you don't have to do that. And I named my daughter after this geranium.
That's how great it is.
Yes.
Now you notice where Kara put this plant. Sometimes, you know, the placement, every plant has a front and a back. And so if she had done it the other way, it would be growing right into and on top of another plant. So if there's a plant and you see he's heading out, we would like it to be kind of cascading gently over the side of the pot. So it's very important to position these so that they're heading in the right direction. Also, we don't want them all bunched together in the center. We'd like you to go way out to the edge of this square planter.
Okay, well, how about shade? We got to take care of the shady lady. I love shade. It's actually probably my favorite for container gardening to do because you really get to play with texture here.
Well, so again, there is an inspiration plant, and let's just say that this were your inspiration, that you fell in love with this calathea, and it has a very dark foliage, but you notice there is a veining that is a bright pink. So that is your cue to what you might be looking for in another plant. So lo and behold, we just happen to have it, and here it is, the exact color with a little bit of white splashed into it, just like this one. So that would be our second plant, and then we'll continue on from there, and we'll talk about a contrast, and maybe we'll add some white and so on. So that's what we'd like, you know, to be thinking about this in terms of what looks good with your house, as well as the colors that you personally like. And I find that most people gravitate to colors that they look good in, colors you like to wear. You know, so here we started.
Set this one up?
Yeah, well, you can set it up. This is, well, I think, you know, in pulling this, the inspiration was this wonderful begonia that has, called Eva, that has it's tinged on the edge with a little bit of orange, okay? So that is our cue as to what we might want to put with it. And all of these plants that have the rounded and the points on the leaf, the point is going to be where the flowers are going to face. So we're going to put this way so it's already facing you with all its flowers, just like a sunflower. And I know they say it doesn't move around, but just go past a field of sunflowers.
Well, this would be pretty impossible to turn around. So you want to set that up the right way. And then I love this fern, this plumosa fern. It's going to be great to put in the center because, I mean, look at that amazing texture in there. And it has some good height to it, but it's not overbearing in any way.
Right, and you are going to find that you're going to be overwhelmed with the options. There would be any number of ferns that might be used. This little austral gem is one of the ones that are just a beautiful texture. That's very shiny leaf. And here's another one that is an upright variety. Very lacy, airy, pretty relaxed looking. There are also small fuchsias that are upright. This one isn't blooming yet, but we have to.
It will be.
Yeah, but it will be fabulous. Okay.
And then ivies are always beautiful and elegant, trailing over. I really enjoy ivies because They cascade down nicely, but they're not aggressive in any way. They're very elegant.
So here is the color that matches Eva, and we're going to put it over on this side. You see it's already spilling out. You see what direction it's going? So we want to be sure that we follow that pattern and let it just gently flow over the edge. Now, if we think about the color wheel, on the opposite side of the color wheel from the orange would be some kind of purple. And that's what makes this such an outstanding addition to what we've got going here.
Well, what I think is really interesting is that this orange, right in the center of it, even has a little bit of purple going on. So when the two are together, it really draws out the center of that flower.
Good.
They look great together.
All right, and then probably this ivy in the back, huh?
So then we'll just put the ivy in there as another little trailer. But set it up like this, make sure that you like it, because we can always swap out a container or a plant, and it's always nice when people walk over and they say, will you just check my basket, just make sure. And sometimes we just offer a couple different recommendations or ideas that you can choose to take or not, whatever you decide. But there's, like you said, it's going to be really hard to narrow down to 5 plants because there's so many beautiful plants in the greenhouse.
You might just decide to do more than one container, and that's okay. We can do that. Do you want to talk a little bit about the planting depth?
Okay, so when you're planting, we will have some extra soil next to your station, but it's really important to make sure that your plants are level with the basket. So if they're too low, you're not going to see your plants. You're going to be waiting forever to see them spilling over the side. And if they're too high, when you water, the water's going to run right down like a mountain. Yeah. So gently just squeeze the pot and the plants will come out. You'll see nice healthy roots. You don't have to do any squeezing. Please don't do any squeezing or scoring or anything like that. They're small and tender, and just dig the hole and create the space for it and just set it into place.
So the top of the soil should be level with the top of your container. So it shouldn't be down 2 inches, then we have to dig it out and repot it. And it shouldn't be, like Kara said, crested up way over the top of the pot.
Now the other important thing, especially with containers, is, well, water, but food.
Oh, I'll get some.
Yeah. This is your pet for the summer, and we don't starve our pets. And you would never just give your dog water, right? Or if we just had water, imagine how hangry you would be. So your plants are gonna, I love food.
I could use some right now.
I know, I'm hungry. And you have to feed your plants, because here at Milligers, they're on a constant feed. They're getting a little bit of food all the time, and that's why they're so happy. So we want to make sure they stay happy in your home. So what have you got there?
Well, what I have is the Algo Plus, and we are believers, and I can tell you that anybody that has worked with this fertilizer is also a believer, because I don't know that you will get a better result from any other plant food. The important thing is it's a liquid, so you cannot burn the plants, and it is very economical. It can be used every time you water, but we're recommending that you do it once a week. If you do it once a week, you will have phenomenal results. And it just takes a capful in a gallon of water. This little bottle makes 100 gallons, which is like 100 waterings. So you use your sprinkling can, water the whole thing, and use up the gallon, and wait a week for your next watering. But I prefer the geranium and patio plants, which is anything blooming. You don't have to have geraniums to do it. We also have one for flowering plants. In addition, there's one for orchids, there's one for tomatoes, there's one for acid loving. There's a lot of options, but these are the 2 really strong ones for getting lots of blooms. And I have people tell me that they see results overnight. They said it's like a miracle. So we can't stress it enough that this is part of the success of a plant that's going to be there come October. And that is, you know, we have lots of plants, and our goal for you is to have something that is still blooming in the end of October. And we love to see the pictures. We love it when you send us shots or you keep it on your phone and show it to us when you come in. And so there are what I call A, B, and C plants. And the A plants are the kind of the workhorses of the garden, and they are the ones that love you back. They are the ones that keep on giving and will bloom their hearts out, and you will have a wonderful result. The C plants, on the other hand, are ones
Hit or
that,
miss.
yeah, that
You might have to replace it. but-
that sometimes they're a little finicky. Sometimes they succumb to heat, or they succumb to disease once in a while and things like that. So when you ask our opinion, it's not that we're trying to change your mind. We're just trying to steer you in the right direction so that you pick all the A plants and that you have a good result. Because the last thing we want to hear is, I'm no good with plants, I kill everything. This is not going to happen, all right? Not if we can help it.
Right. We'll look out for you. And I just want to mention that this class, again, is a popular one. So we are going to make sure that all the baskets are numbered. Just like our jumbo basket, your basket's going to have a number, and it's going to be like a perforated number. So you get to keep one of the numbers, we have the other, and then when you come to pick it up, all you have to do is find your number. So we're not looking through hundreds of baskets for Susie Q. All we have to do is look for number, 165. So, and we'll do that check-in right when you come in and get your glass of wine.
So we hope you're excited and as much as we are, and it's just beautiful out here in the greenhouse. This is just, I always say no one can be crabby in the greenhouse. So no matter how you feel, when you get here, you're going to love it. So we're looking forward to working with you, and hope you check out the other classes that are available.